I'm glad Tub is here. Tub, I thought you hated us recently.
I do.
I was starting to take this as a tad bit personal.
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Right, so no, hey, I don't hate all of you.
Okay.
All right.
So here we go. Here we go.
1/2, 1/3. How's that work out?
I don't like me most of the time. Most of the time, I just don't like me.
I always say if you want to have any kind of human conflict, all you need is one in a room.
There you are.
One Tub.
Oh, one person,
no,
just
one person in a room. All
just
you
one person.
Yeah, just one. With that being said, on the spirit of human conflict and what's to come, this is the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast that has ever existed. I am one of your. I'm probably the best looking host here, so I will say that. And I'm the only real libertarian. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me,
Are
sir.
there no mirrors where you live?
I'm Marcus Matthews. My house is wall-to-wall mirrors. And I'm the only real libertarian here. And I'm joined by my guy, Eric. We'll go to Eric first because he's better looking.
Than you? Yes.
No, than you. And
I'm just like, that's a little gay, but I'm cool with it. Whatever. I mean, not cool with it like.
I mean, we should be able.
Now he's trying to drag you out now, Eric. Too. Don't do it, dude.
At this point, we should be able to.
What's that thing
each
like?
Other as men.
Crabs in a bucket or something.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you don't need a lid because. And then we have Tub here.
You didn't give a chance to Eric to introduce. You didn't give a chance to Eric to say anything.
Hey, I'm Eric. Nice to see and meet y'all. Tub's got it from here.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I can tell you, I feel good right now. I had a piece of chocolate cake. And so, listen. So here's all right.
Chocolate cake.
There's a reason behind this, okay? And it was big. It was huge. It's like massive. And so
go to that spot we went to that one time.
I decided. No. This one was actually a lady made it and brought it to us for Melissa's birthday. Melissa's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday!
Tell her I said happy birthday.
So feel free we can put that around. So here's what happened. So a couple weeks ago, I decided, hey, I want to lose about 7 pounds. Mm-hmm. And people are like, 7 pounds, what's wrong? And I'm like, you know what? It's easier to lose 7 than 20. You know? So I just started, I still eat all the junk, but I just cut out all the snacks. I cut out, I drink 1 cup of tea throughout the whole day, a sweet tea.
Instead of 8.
Yes, exactly. And I've been drinking a bunch of water. And so every now and then, if I hadn't eaten all day and I had not a very big dinner, I'm like, oh, I could have chocolate cake. And so I'm feeling good, guys. I'm feeling better than I have in days because I had some chocolate cake. I'm back to me again. Now, I don't know that makes it better for anybody else.
That's
for
my
me.
Exact thoughts right there. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm glad.
Full disclosure, and I was telling Marcus this backstage, and I'm ashamed of this. I put on my daddy weight. I've gained 20 pounds since I became a father. That's 6 weeks.
That's more than your daughter weighs.
Yes, I know. So I have a serious problem. I need some accountability partners. So if you see me posting fitness stuff on my social media, it's because I need you guys to hold me accountable. Okay.
What about please comment here? Check out intermittent fasting.
So that works for me, but also me and my wife are spending all of our time together. So I can intermittent fast. Well, she's gonna eat 3 square meals a day and still lose weight. So we're there together eating. If I was like, I'm not hungry, then she's like, you don't want to feed me. So then I get in trouble. So it's difficult now. I think once I go back to work, I still got 5 more weeks. I think once I go back
you're going to explode by then.
Yeah. That's 60 pounds, right?
I got to do. I was running dude. I was running.
You're gonna gain a 5-year-old.
I was running 3 miles a day before the pregnancy, and then a couple times I ran 3 miles twice a week. And now
you mean instead of church?
So yes, exactly. And the other
maybe that's what your bigger problem is. Well, your bigger problem is that you're not getting right with God, and it's showing.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Listen, you better be careful because you'll end up looking like Marcus. Okay, because he's nowhere near right with God, and look what happens.
I'm probably the best looking person on this podcast.
That only happened one time, and there's a lot going on there. But we're working on that too.
All right, so there's a couple things. So, like, if you've spent time around Eric, see, we miss Eric around us because, like, we would go places, and if we didn't eat everything, which we usually wouldn't, Eric was always there. Eric was there to take it like a man. Like, he manned up and he took care of things.
I don't believe in leftovers.
Right.
But also, when I was running for city council, the last 2 months, I lost like 30 pounds door knocking, just walking door to door. Man,
just do that now. Just go knock on your neighbor's door.
Just go run for office.
Yeah. I'm not running for anything. Just knock on people's doors. Hey, buddy, how you
doing?
Great
What's
segue.
going on?
Speaking of running for local
Speaking of there, please get us out of this.
We have a great candidate here on the podcast, and this one means a lot to me here personally. And Tub, don't take this offensive, but I found a local candidate that I'm excited about. Finally.
Whoa!
Finally. So
I second the motion.
I live in High Point. Steve Ignac lives in Greensboro. It's 20 minutes away. Last week, I met him at the Guilford County Libertarian meeting, and we went out and put signs out with him like after the meeting. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to do something eventually. We went out and put boots on the ground the day that I met him. Some of these guys might have already met him. So with that being said, Marcus, if you wouldn't mind bringing Steve out. Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Sorry it took a minute to get to the point. Having local candidates on this podcast is genuinely my favorite part about it. So for those of you that don't know, Steve lives here in Greensboro. I'm in High Point, North Carolina. Marcus is out of California. Tub is in Jacksonville, Florida. That's where I moved from. Tub had some experience running for local office. I ran for local office, but it's not about us. It's about Steve here. Steve, how as kind of a quick rapid fire, but or whatever, putting the feet to the pavement. What made you decide to run for city council here in Greensboro, North Carolina?
So it was kind of an interesting story because I've never been political a lot. I've been, just doing my own stuff. And then, in the last few years, everything got over exaggerated as far as left, right, far left, far right, all the different things. So I was looking at the ballot, especially in Greensboro. We have, I think, 26 candidates for the 9 positions in the district and the city. So the city council, basically mayor, at-large mayors, and the 5 different districts. And the majority, obviously, is Democrat. And then we have like 2 or 3 straggling Republicans. And then, of course, nobody else is represented. And I'm just like, I registered the last minute because there were only 2 people who were running for the position for District 4. And one of them, of course, was Democrat. The other one is Republican. But the thing is, it's supposed to be nonpartisan. But what I noticed is they've been running their campaigns for months before even the registration time began. So I was looking at it and I said, you know what, let me just throw my hat in there. Let's just try something because we are not being heard. And I want to just figure out how this process works. And, I don't want to come out too dirty at the other end, but, politics is teaching me a few things now. But that's the reason why I got in there. I wanted to make sure that we are getting heard. We want to get, something in there. And it's just, I don't know, it just came to me. And my wife was like, dude, what do you get yourself into again?
Real. I think all of our wives have said that. Like,
yeah, really? Are you sure? So, now, Steve, Marcus, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, I noticed you had an accent. I want to get into your background a little bit because you're originally from Hungary, correct?
Correct, yes.
And then second part of that is you look of Tub and I's generation. So Hungary.
You say you look old.
I think we look distinguished. I'm going with distinguished.
Thank
I
you.
was old. I'll own it.
Yeah, but people of our vintage know Hungary was a communist country.
That's correct.
Back when we were a lot younger. And was it when you came here? Was it because of that, or was it after the fall?
No, I came before, actually. I've always been a rebellious guy, you know. So, in fact, one of the reasons why I had to leave is because of that. So, when I was in my late teens, you know, we started to protest against the, you know, Soviet regime. And that was before 89. And of course, you know, when we got one night, basically, we went out and burned the communist flag, right? And of course, we had to be smart, like all the kids, you know, when you do something stupid, somebody's going to see you. And who was the person who saw us? A colonel in the communist army.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So we are like,
we only got to deal with annoying people.
Yeah, one of them.
Of all the people to piss off.
And then we're like, okay, we're done. We're going home. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you got a troop of police officers came up on us. And without saying anything, we started, you know, they just started to use their batons and fists and whatever they could find to, you know, work on us a little bit. So we got taken into a place that I think some of the people over here would not even say, I mean, they would say that it's inhumane. I mean, over there, you know, you get 5 or 6 people with 2 or 3 beds on a concrete slab. And I was, at the time, I was barely 18 when this happened. So, yeah, I mean, they taught me a couple of lessons. And then, you know, after I had a chance, I actually had I don't know if you guys are familiar with the history of Hungary, but in 1956 there was an uprising against the communists at that time.
And the Russians came in.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been that they could have overthrown the government, but the Russians came in and suppressed everything, and not just the Russians, but the neighboring communist countries' troops also came in. So it's been always hard, and I think it's just looking back, the history of the Hungarians. They were always being run over by other countries like the Habsburgs, the Romans, the Ottomans. Because that's the main route going from east to west. So, you know, even before that, we had the Tatars and the Mongols. So it's a long history of people who fought. So I think I probably have some of that in me.
My point to bringing that up, and then I'll pass it on, was you know what liberty is, because in doing your background, what I saw, anybody who went through that, because Americans are spoiled, they think they're getting shafted by Democrats and Republicans, which they are. But they don't know what a true shaft is, a long spiked shaft that is of stop tub.
Listen, going by what you said before we got started, and now you're turning into this, I don't like the way the show is going, to be honest with you.
But at any rate, Steve is a man that knows what liberty is. So if he made that transition to being a libertarian after coming here from a nation where you just simply had no rights, that really says a lot about you as an individual and as a person, and why people should vote for you. So that was the...
Yep. Steve, I want to go piggyback off Marcus. Was that your transition to libertarianism? How popular was liberty and libertarianism in Hungary when you were a young teen? And do you still have family there? And how is it now? Like, how are the politics there now?
That's an excellent question about, you know, how things change, because before I left the country, there was one party system, right? And then now they probably have 12 to 30 I don't know how many parties, just like a regular European country. They have a lot of different parties.
Nice.
Everybody comes up with some kind of ideas. Yeah, there's even a party that's called the two-tailed dog party. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know why they come up with that, but the funny thing about that is probably the closest to what we call libertarianism over here. That party.
The two-tailed dog party.
Yes.
Listen,
I love it.
I think it's time
Checks out.
for every libertarian to find a way to put that on their thing. Hey, we're basically just the two-tailed dog party, and let them just go from there.
Can I get a flag? See how I got the Appeal to Heaven and the Liberty flag? Can I get a two-tailed dog party flag in the background?
No step on two-tailed dog.
There you go. All right. Yeah, that's great. So that being said, I think we kind of got an idea of like how you became a libertarian. Living under a communist regime definitely pushes people more towards liberty, I think. Now that being said, when you moved here from Hungary to the United States, you were in California for a while.
Yes.
Did the communist regime
and he realized California was worse than Hungary.
How can you speak ill of the fourth largest economy in the world?
There it is.
Yep, there it is.
What part of California?
I lived in the Los Angeles area. I lived in several cities over there.
Okay.
I worked in Torrance, but I also worked in Northridge and
Oh, dang.
a couple of other places. And then I lived in Linwood.
Okay.
So that's for the
you're over there.
Marcus is
He was that way.
Marcus is in an undisclosed location, so he cannot tell you right where he is, but it was in that area.
Well, Marcus is working for the feds.
People don't understand how big California is geographically.
I mean,
because the two of the cities he said, Torrance to Northridge, on an average day will probably take you almost 2 to 3 hours to get to that on traffic.
Yeah,
and you're talking about maybe 50 miles.
50 miles? It takes 2 hours?
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
See, over there, so Marcus is probably going to agree with me. We don't tell you how far it is. We tell you how long
it's going to take.
We do that here in Jacksonville. We just say, like, oh, it's 20 minutes away. What does that mean?
Yeah, but
so what you're saying?
50 miles takes 50 minutes in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, I mean, we get to move. Our traffic's not. But hang on. So the fourth largest economy is basically probably supported by gas sales for all those cars just sitting in traffic.
Quite possibly. We're not even going to dispute that.
And
but yeah, geographically, just the city of Los Angeles is 500 square miles.
It's still smaller than Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's just the city. But we're talking
fathom
the metropolitan.
Let's talk lanes of traffic, like your interstate. Aren't y'all like 10 lanes wide or something? Like one way or something?
Maybe top 6.
All right.
6 to
That's
7.
it? They always look bigger when they show them on TV.
Yeah,
I know. It's like,
there's like there's 36 lanes going across and everybody's still stuck.
Yeah, it's all a big CF, no doubt. But why did you leave this paradise in the fourth largest economy in the world?
Because he moved to the best paradise, North Carolina.
He moved to become a deacon of a church.
It's just great because so the reason why we moved is a couple of reasons. One of them is we were living in a 900 square foot place. Okay. And, we had our kids with us and everything. So it got a little tight. And on top of that 900 square foot place was worth about almost $700,000.
Oh my goodness.
Even though it's in an unincorporated area of Los Angeles, which means it's not actually in a municipality.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had the LA County Sheriff?
Yeah.
That's another reason to leave. But I digress.
Yeah. So
900 square feet for $700,000.
Yes. Yeah.
I was just telling Marcus, a house down the street from me, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot isn't massive, but not terrible, with an in-ground pool, just listed for $320,000.
Yes.
That's like double with an in-ground pool, and it's on a half an acre. It's 0.4 acres, but still, like that compared to Cal. And I'm not asking a bunch of Democrats from California to move here to North Carolina.
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Well, I'm only asking Marcus, which is a close.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so just one Democrat, not a whole bunch of them. Got it. All right,
neighbors. You come over to my garage. We can film it in studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway.
As long as it's not near Tub, I'm good with that. But here is a city question for Steve. How's the traffic in Greensboro?
The traffic?
Yes.
Oh, it's nothing compared to what I used to be. It's nothing. So I get in my car and I get to where I want to get in normal, like keeping the speed limit or a little bit higher.
Yeah.
What's that like?
The thing is, people think that's like a throwaway question, and it's actually not. Because if you get local government down to its most essential responsibilities and roles, in all honesty, they basically only have two things. One is keep the traffic moving and keep the trash picked up. That's it. That should be the role of local government. Take care of those things, and everything else we can work on.
Well, some utilities, some like roads and sewer system and stuff like that. But other than that, that's correct.
That too. Eric, I'm gonna let you read this question for Joe into your segment. What's going on with Tub? Is he swatting?
I got this my notes. I'm ready.
Oh, well, we'll get to you. Get to you. This is his homie. They were just slapping hands.
I'm going in the other room. Just call me on my other phone when I'm ready.
Tub, just stay here. Whenever I miss something, help me out.
Just do what you're doing. You guys just do the show. Just do the show. I go.
If you'd be,
I'm so glad I came on this week.
Steve, Joe Hanush asked, what's the top issues voters are telling you? So not necessarily what your platform is all about, but whenever you're outdoor knocking, what are the issues that your constituents are bringing up to you?
So I had to get used to the area a little bit because a lot of the people over here think a whole different way than in California. What a surprise.
We got common sense.
Right.
Fourth largest economy.
Yeah, one of the reasons
common sense.
The other reason why I started to run is because when we moved over here, I wasn't aware that there are so many different companies that are coming into the area. And this area is booming. I mean, it's growing. We have Boom Supersonic that's going to be here. There's another company who's coming, another Jet Zero.
Yeah,
and they are
Jet Zero.
And they are bringing 14,500 jobs into the area.
Whoa.
That means
that's legit.
That means that our city over here is going to explode. Now, one of the other reasons why I moved over here is because of the ambience, looking around and having the nice green canopy and seeing, the streets nice and neat. But if we have a huge influx of people like that over here, and then we don't have the infrastructure in place or we don't have the support, then we are going to end up with big city problems in a small city.
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and try to address that ahead of time. Basically, because 90% of the people who are running for office over, they either grew up over here, they left for school and came back, or they've been here for all their lives, or at least for the last 20 years. There are only me and another person who's been here for less than 5.
So what's a great idea that you have to combat those big city problems in a small town or small city? You know what I mean? How can you explain that to your constituents? Like, here's the 8-year plan, because that's how long I plan on being in office. Here's the 8-year plan, and here's what we need to be looking forward to or get ahead of.
Well, one of the things is not to change the area too much. We have a lot of space, like in downtown Greensboro, that's open. I think they used to have some wood buildings over there that they tore down, and they haven't built anything. So right behind the main street, Elm Street, it opens up, and you have several blocks of areas that are basically being forgotten. So I would recommend to build up in those areas because there are already a bunch of high rises in there. We have Lincoln Financial and a couple of other big companies who are, headquartered over there. So, and the hotels, they are developing a lot of places over there. So there's a huge opportunity over there to start to build housing, not just for the people who are going to be working over here, but people who have issues like, low income people and stuff like that. So we actually have to think about that a lot because that's another reason why I left California is because of the mismanagement of the homeless situation over there. I mean, that's insane what we had to go through. We moved into an area where we said, okay, it's a cul-de-sac, so we're going to be in a nice area, nice and quiet, until we had the RVs show up the street. and
so,
yeah.
But before we move into homelessness, let's kind of expand on the, I guess, housing of downtown and expansion. For people that don't know Greensboro, I like Tub can relate to this. I think of where we live. Piedmont Triad has Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, and to me, Tub, all three of those cities are about the size of Jacksonville. But Jacksonville's kind of spread out. You got the beaches, downtown, and then you got you got a Mandarin or that area over there. You know what I mean, Tub? I know I'm not
right.
What? Why are you reaching? But that's where I'm thinking in my head, sitting in Tub's living room. Greensboro has a great opportunity because not only do we got all of this business that Steve's talking about coming into town, but there are several colleges. You got UNC Greensboro, you got Elon Law University. Down the road, you got High Point University, and then in Winston-Salem, you have like Wake Forest. You got Winston-Salem State, a historically black college. You got several colleges around here, and a lot of people don't necessarily. You don't got to live in, you don't got to live in Winston-Salem to go to school or work there.
Oh.
If that makes sense. Like I live in High Point, I work in Winston-Salem. So we're talking about like the people living in Greensboro. I think Greensboro's kind of got that attitude, like they are ready and looking for growth, and the downtown area really needs it. When I've been out, haven't noticed a lot of homelessness, but I haven't been looking because I'm not running for office. And that's probably an issue that Steve is hearing from his constituents or he's seeing more because he's down there. So do you kind of want to explain to us what you mean by the homelessness problem and any ideas you have to fix it?
Yeah, so I started to talk about that, and then just going back for a second for the adding homes without losing the neighborhood character would be one of the things that people are very interested in actually in our district, and that would be like my approach would be to support small, well-designed homes like backyard cottages, duplexes, and small cottage courts. So that it doesn't really change the character of the place, because that's one of the draws that why people like to come here. So and then as far as the homelessness is, it's quite visible when you go to downtown. I used to work near downtown before our offices moved, and I walked in the neighborhood almost during lunch a lot. And I noticed at night they get them into the shelters, but during the day they were basically outside and gathering in parks. And it's an extremely complex problem.
It is, yeah.
Because the approach that we would have to take to tackle it it cannot be just what basically is being done in California. They just want to build them over there. Marcus can probably confirm this. They are building apartments that are costing $700,000 to house people from the street.
And basically, this is all a racket right now. homelessness is probably the most complex problem that America faces because there's so many different factors involved in being homeless that the government can't get any of those factors within their realm of sensibility, because is it a drug problem? Is it a mental illness problem? Is it the people that were in the system, the foster care system and group homes and all of that stuff? It's all these different things that come into play here where there's not one solution. That's a tough question to answer, Steve. And at least you as a libertarian are thinking about solutions, whereas Democrats and Republicans are either throw them in jail or throw more money at the problem.
Well, right. So, and before I asked it to Steve, I asked it to Marcus, and Tub got experience. His wife runs a nonprofit, deals with homeless folks. I don't know if that's the right term, but Tub will correct me, I'm sure. But like, I've always thought, what if we moved the shelters away from the downtown, but closer to like the industrial area where people are hiring folks? You know what I mean? Like, and I understand if it's mental illness, you might not get that job. But if it's, you know, like other reasons, and I've heard stories specifically through Tubbs' wife's nonprofit of a guy who was homeless that had a full-time job, but he couldn't find an apartment because he didn't have a place before, and he didn't have the credit history, and he didn't have all the things, but he had a full-time job and he was homeless. You know what I mean? Like, so is there a way to get, and I don't know, Steve and I can talk offline, or an idea about this, but like to move those housing units closer to the jobs and outside of downtown. Don't get me wrong, like there are some service industry jobs downtown that a homeless person can get, but those are far and few between. But if you moved it to the industrial sector and somebody could walk to work at the Amazon facility or whatever, like that could work out way better. Near the airport, there's all kinds of industrial logistics jobs around the airport. So I don't know. That's an idea y'all could kick around. Tub, you got any insight there, or put you on the spot? Thanks for Steve.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Jacksonville tends to be different than other cities because of the fact that we are spread out so far. And so, like for us here, the main reason a lot of the homeless end up downtown is that's where all the resources are for the homeless people. They tend to put them there.
Government resources.
But then, like, you know, they'll be homeless over on the west side. And in all reality, because of the size of Jacksonville, it's hard for the west side homeless to get downtown to get to the resources that are there. And so you end up, they just kind of expand out, and they don't go further out to help the people that are homeless over there. So they kind of forced them into this area, and whoever can't get there, well, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
All right, so now am I free to go now? Can I play on the show now too?
I guess so.
Can we ask Steve if he has a response to that subject or an idea or anything? Like,
of course,
y'all started it.
Yeah.
He already answered like, hey, the homeless issue.
So here's the thing. You know, what I'm thinking is, you always have to go to the source. And what is the source? It's the people who are living on the street. You have to figure out, and you can't just do it like blanket, like they are trying to do in California. Just get them into a home, and then we'll work on the rest later. Whether they are, you know, because they are substance abuse, alcoholism, or mental illness, or whatever the cause may be. It would work for a certain segment of that population, like the one you mentioned about having, you know, people who just can't afford to live in a home because of other circumstances. But for those, giving a home would work. But for the rest of them, it may not be the case. So what we would have to do is probably go to the spot and figure out and group them into areas so that we can focus on whatever their background or whatever the reason is. Because there are some people who just basically, I'm getting enough money from the government and it's, you know, just convenient. There are a lot of people like that, especially in California, because once they declare that they are in this situation, then the different groups are getting money from, especially over there, like billions, like $24 billion are thrown at the situation, and the situation got worse. So that's one of the reasons why I want to address it here by looking at specific reasons, not just throw money at it, but figure out what helps the most, and basically group them based on the reason why they are in that situation.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right. I mean, that makes sense. It sounds like a great strategy, Steve. You coming from California and being able to bring you're like the forward observer, if you know what that is in the military. Like I've already seen what's happening over there. Let's keep it from happening, or let's at least try and mitigate and prevent that here.
Right.
Tub, what do you got?
All right, so I have 2 rounds. I'll do my first round now, and then y'all can do your little thing, and I'll bring it back again. All right, so the second round, I'm going to actually cover things specific to your website. Okay.
Okay.
But to start out with, the simple questions that I have is, what is the population of Greensboro? Like roughly, I don't need like, hey, there's 312. Like roughly, what's the population?
300 and something thousand. I think.
Yeah. 300, okay. All right.
300,000. Yeah.
And then, can you do me a favor? Can you explain to me the districts again? I know you started explaining that you have at-large mayors, and so what is the breakdown again?
So we have 5 districts, of course, and then the district 1 is more like the southeast, and then 2 is right above that, more on the east side, and then we have the 3 and 4 kind of in the middle, and then 5 is in the northwest area, basically. So that covers a large area, and we are kind of in the middle. It's this district has grown out of the downtown area, and part of my district is covering a little part of the downtown area.
And so are there just the 5? You have 5 council members?
No, there are more than, actually I think there are 9, because we have the 5. We also have at-large members, and then we have the mayor.
Okay. All right. So then the at-large is kind of like probably our at-large here, that they represent the whole city, and anybody from the city can reach out to them specifically.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then you have your individual. So the same premise that we have here in Jacksonville, but we have 14 districts and then 5 at-large, and then the mayor, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Steve, before Tub goes on, I want to get some clarification. Your district races are when someone runs for District 4, they are only running for District 4, right? Or is it like if you file and you get in, how's that work? Can you explain that?
Yeah, that is correct. So basically, when you are declaring for a certain district, that's what you're running for, unless you are at large, which is the entire thing, or a mayoral candidate.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah.
So how big is your district specifically, population-wise?
I believe this is probably around 40,000.
Okay. And then, so as you're going out and about and you're kind of meeting across people, how are they responding to the idea? Because I know you can't say because it's a nonpartisan race. How are they responding to your libertarian ideas?
Generally, I actually got different views.
Eric, you type loud as hell.
Hey, I know you hear him. It sounds like he's trying to push his keyboard through the desk.
Yeah, what did the laptop do to you, bro?
Is that me?
So I've been out there and asking a couple of questions, and the problem is a lot of people are like, they actually got, my friend was telling them that I'm running, right? And then the other person is like, oh, that's not right. That's not good because he's splitting the ticket, right? So that's another feedback that we always get, So it's kind of hard sometimes to explain, and they are like, and a lot of people don't understand. So we have to I have to slow down and try to explain what our views are and visions are, and once they understand, they start to know that okay, there's another alternative, but they are. A lot of them still are so entrenched in their, respective parties for many years that they are not open to any new ideas.
Yeah, listen, that's everywhere. Like anybody running could say that same thing right there. Nobody really wants new ideas. They just want to be able to say, "Hey, my guy says this," and they don't even really care what their guy says anymore. It says what letter do they have, and we just follow them. So
hold on, Steve. A couple times you've gotten some free press being a new candidate, right? Like filing. They're like, "Hey, a guy jumped in last minute." Could you talk about that free press you got real quick?
Yeah, so the Raleigh Independent, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but
Observer or something like that.
Yeah, Observer. They called me and they wanted to know, why am I running and why did I go last minute? And so I had a nice little conversation with them. And then the local paper, it's Greensboro.com, but the paper itself is called doggone it. It's late. I've been up since 5 a.m, so
hold on,
it's already 9.
Type loudly and see what it says.
The News and Record. So that's the newspaper.
Yeah, Greensboro.com takes me to the News and Record. That's correct. Yep, there you go.
So am I good?
So yeah, but Steve got some free. Yeah, you're good. I'm saying Steve got some free press for filing last minute, jumping into a race where they thought it was just going to be a Republican and Democrat. And I was like, hey, look, everyone has a third option in this race. So,
and it was interesting, too, because a lot of people were thinking, somebody was telling me they probably threw a fit because we have an election over here where we have a primary on October 7th. And then whoever is left in the race, then, they would be going.
Is it the top two? The top two going to the general?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But if the primary was the deciding factor, then those two who were in here, they would have already been in, right? They would have won.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to have a runoff.
Right. Yeah. So technically, you're going to make them have another election for that. Nobody's walking away with it in the primary. Well done. If nothing else, it stirs things up a little bit.
I mean, I didn't do that intentionally, but it worked out.
Hey, so be it.
October 7th is my birthday and Vladimir Putin's. I just want to throw that out.
All right. Well,
that means nothing to us freedom-loving people.
So Steve hates both of you. No, I'm just kidding.
So here's the thing. You had mentioned about areas of the downtown, which is your district, as you said. And you said that there's been a lot of it sounds like they kind of cleared the lot and left it, is what you're saying. Right. And so you're saying it would be nice to get that developed to back up. What are your plans to help get that developed back up?
Because it used to be already developed, so I think a lot of the infrastructure, especially underground, is in place, like the sewer system, the water, and all of that stuff. So it wouldn't be that bad, that hard for them to build it up.
All right. So what I'm referring to is how would you go about getting people to develop it and to put businesses or residences there, whatever it is? What is your plan to start making that happen?
I would have to start to talk to. Well, here's the thing. There's a company whose CEO is already on the board. I mean, in the city council.
CEO.
Yes, that runs an organization that's supposed to develop downtown. So it's kind of a interesting situation right there.
Yeah, that's not corrupt or anything.
So what you're saying is like it should have already been done. Here's the guy saying he could do this. Why hasn't he done it? Right.
But are you suggesting that we could use city funds in order to build that up, to purchase it, to give money to developers so that they would develop that? Like, where's the line drawn?
Or are you simply saying let's deregulate and let
them do it? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was meaning. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. All right.
Let them come in. We already have that infrastructure in place. Let the developers come in and make it useful. Make it something that will help everybody around the area. Like mixed development. Have not just buildings, but storefronts and where people can also stay and work.
Let me ask a somewhat jerk question real quick. So you mentioned about how you almost like the idea of the ADUs, accessory dwelling units, like to kind of take care of like backyard houses, stuff along those lines. But then you also mentioned that you would like to keep the feel of Greensboro, like the feel of Greensboro. So in my mind, I hear, okay, wait a minute. He wants to say, hey, people should be able to have small buildings or small residences, but we also want to make them look a certain way. Like, are you suggesting that it's property rights without property rights, or how does that work?
No. What I meant is a lot of the areas over here, we don't want to get overpopulated, and we don't want to change the feel of the area, right? So putting a little ADU or changing or adding it in the backyard, that wouldn't change anything on the front, and that would give younger people like college students, because as mentioned by Eric, there are a lot of colleges over here. We have GTCC, we have which is the community college, we have A&T, Guilford, North Carolina
Guilford
School.
College, yeah,
Guilford College. All of these different schools. What we could do is, instead of having to have them, get into like expensive student housing, people who build these places, they could have a little extra income. And that's the other reason why we want to do this, is because the taxes here are already really high compared to the rest of the area. So we want to keep that or lower it.
Steve, it sounds like you're saying, like, if you're in a residential neighborhood, you got, a quarter acre, a third of an acre, half an acre. It's already a residential neighborhood. If you build a mother-in-law suite or, a small apartment in the back, it's not going to change the residential neighborhood from being residential. But, it also sounds like, but downtown you want multi-use. And I agree with that. Like, what sounds to me like residential on the first floor and then like commercial second floor up, or residential on the front, commercial on the inside. Does that sound right?
That's close. It's a really complex issue, but here's the reason. A lot of the people are getting priced out of their homes, like older people who try to retire and try to stay in the area because they, this is where they live. This is they work for the place. Now, adding a little ADU in the back would also help them with their own, trying to keep it up and trying to not lose the place. Because here's the problem. If the property values keep going up the way it is, and that's one of the number one reasons why people are always calling the offices over here and telling us what to do, is they are up for evaluation, and the budget went up exponentially compared to how much money is coming in, even though there's not a deficit yet. But if it's going at this rate, they're either going to have to do two things. One of them is raise taxes, or some other way to get money into the coffers, right? But it's fixed income people. They can be taxed out of their home if it goes that way. So before any vote, the city, I think, should publish a simple calculator for people to see what their bills would be before and after. And they would probably have to give an owner-occupied homes some homestead exemptions. So that would defer the payment of taxes so they can stay where they are. And especially, it's going to hit the people the most are the people who are, who are already struggling.
Yeah, that's my guy.
All right, so hang on. So what you actually said was something that's on your website that I wanted to go over with you. And so right there, you said on your website, it's aging in place with dignity.
Right.
And so on there, but you mentioned targeted tax relief and launch a senior mobility. Hey, can I be here too? A senior mobility pilot program to ensure our elders can stay active and independent. What is the tax relief, and what was the senior mobility pilot program?
So the tax relief would be that homestead exemption.
Okay.
Okay. So that would be allowing them to defer the tax payments until they sell the home, for example, or they transfer it.
So hold on, Steve. Not trying to derail you, but are you saying they wouldn't have to pay property taxes until their house is sold to the next buyer? Is that what you're getting at?
No, they would be paying, but they would have an exemption. They would have a lower rate
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, all right. Sorry, I interrupted.
That would be like looking at the total amount of value that they have to pay for. That would be reduced, so their overall tax bill would be lower, and then that would be paid back when they sell the home. And then the mobility would be local infrastructure to try to get a better network of or a better way to get around for them, because a lot of people, they can be stuck at home if they are no longer driving.
Gotcha.
Well, I just want to let me just say this. I didn't allow my kids to use the word hate when they were little, because I just didn't like the word. But I hate saying this. Tub has some of the best ideas on licensing and property taxes of people who own their home outright. And that it disturbs me to no end to have to give him credit for that. And it just like it gets at my gut, at my soul, to give Tub credit for anything. But he's always been right about the licensing and property taxes. And his
every time we have a local politician in Florida talking about property taxes, Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing to end it. And I wholeheartedly give Tubbs Lieutenant Governor candidate race all of the credit it's due for that.
You do mention often.
I'm like, I got a guy, or I know a guy. Like, we've had this conversation. We had the conversation with the property appraiser. Is that the office in Duval County?
Yeah, that's what he has. That's what he had at that time. So he just keeps moving around from office to office. Now he's talking about getting ready to run for mayor, but
honestly, he might be the best option if a Libertarian doesn't run. Tub, you got $10,000 for that qualifying fee.
Actually, so I'm glad you say that, because Steve, that was going to be one of my questions to you. Is so for your ballot access and everything, what all did you have to do?
Well, this is about registering and getting to.
Getting to run for office.
Running office, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So I have to go to downtown and post $400 and then register with the state and the local election.
That's it?
That's it.
Yep. It's very easy. I have no excuse for not running.
That's even easier than Jacksonville.
No, it is. It is. It's very good.
I was surprised.
Honestly, yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this real quick. So, like I said, I'm on your website here, and this is what I was looking at earlier also. And so you have some ideas on here. I'm like, okay, these are all solid ideas. But the question that on my mind always goes to is, how are you going to fund some of these ideas? Like, where's the funding come from?
That's a valid question. Actually,
Tub, quit asking libertarian questions. Right? It's all made up fiat numbers. Yeah. Look, it's gonna.
I was looking for the donate link on this page.
I got that written right here, that there is no way to donate on the website.
Tub, we'll just tax people more.
Shut up, Eric. All right, bad answer from the start.
Well, so here's the big thing about the area. I mentioned earlier that there's going to be all of these businesses coming in.
Yep.
We don't want to. We want to give them tax incentives, of course, to come over here. But at the same time, it's going to mean that there's going to be a lot more revenue coming in, because it's not only the people who are going to be working, it's also going to be the support people. I mean, I'm talking about restaurants, taxi, whatever else is going to have to increase. It's going to increase our airport. Probably is going to have to expand, because and all those people moving in and out of the place, especially when we have really high profile companies like Boom and Jet Zero are coming in here. They're going to.
Didn't you say the number of like people moving in the area is like 30-something thousand people moving in the area or something like that?
Actually the need for homes is about 34,000. the total number of homes that we need over here.
So
that
like
means
not.
That means about 100,000 people are going to be over here, but and that's going to increase, some of the revenue that we need. But at the same time, that's why we have to think about how to offset that, because we can't just keep raising taxes on people, but we have to look at what's coming in and where it's going.
So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but do you have an idea of where Guilford County's millage rate is and Greensboro's millage rate? Or is there a millage rate for Greensboro separate from Guilford County? Do you know? Have you looked into those numbers? I know there's a lot of talk about that right now in Jacksonville, but I'm like, why weren't y'all talking about that in 2023? You know what I mean? But I'm wondering, Steve, do you have an idea of the millage rate, and where does Greensboro compare to the other bigger cities? Is it more tax friendly in Greensboro than Raleigh or Charlotte or Winston?
No, it's not really more, because the tax rates are set by the county, but because we live in the city, it's nearly double than people who live outside of the city.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right.
That's the tough part about living inside city limits.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, we're gonna start wrapping this up because I want
Tub,
to make
got anything?
I'm going to Tub next. Can I do
more
transition?
Hold on. I was saying Tub's got a list. Did we get through your list?
And that's where I'm passing it to. Tub, what do you got in your last few questions for my?
So my last one that was there that's not website related would be what you actually did already mention about how there is no giving on the website. Are you self-funding? Is it unnecessary? What is the reason for that?
How do we raise money for you, Steve?
Well, I haven't put anything on there because I wanted to run it by myself, and the reason for that is it's very simple. I don't want to be if I get into the position, or when I get into the position, I don't want to be beholden. Yeah, exactly, to anybody. I don't want to be. I don't want any special interest group to be able to come in here and say, "Oh, I did this for you. Can you do this for me?" Which is what's happening. That's why a lot of the other candidates are spending tens or even $100,000 for the same position I'm running for.
Well, that is a noble cause.
Yeah, that's one of the best I've ever heard.
And here's the reason. Another reason. You see, people my age or older are running. There are very few young people who are running, and one of the reasons for that is because of the monetary and the financial barrier. It's almost impossible for anybody to get in there. So I would really think about reforming the current process, because it's like you said. I think, Marcus, you mentioned about the corruption. It is. I mean, it's from the beginning. It's really hard for anybody who really wants to make a difference to get in there, unless they basically sell their soul to the highest bidders.
Yeah. Eric?
And I want to say, like Steve. So I think all of our followers, all of our listeners, the best way to help Steve out, go follow him on social media. If you're on my Facebook, I followed him and I tagged him in my post. You look up Steve Ignac for Greensboro City Council D4, I think is his Facebook. Go follow, comment, share. Let's get the word out how we can help a great libertarian candidate, a guy passionate about his community, and a guy who has witnessed communism and socialism firsthand as a young adolescent teenager. I think that's adolescent. I don't know. He experienced it as a young adult, 18 years old, and he experienced it in California. And like the wise individual decided to get out.
Right.
Whereas Marcus,
you're stupid to leave.
That was a devious laugh in it. Yeah.
I can't wait for like Marcus to be living in North Carolina. Still
that would
talking
be
about
that would be cool. Yeah.
It would be cool. I would make the cool factor of North Carolina go up about tenfold.
But
I think you should move to North Carolina. Florida's full.
For the record, you gotta quit
No more
talking about
Californians
pitching.
Florida.
Yeah,
Florida's all, we're maxed out. We don't need any California Dems down here in Florida.
Hey, all the North Carolina folks like we're full. And I'm like, man, there was room for me. I made it in. I'm just kidding.
You were the cutoff.
Years ago. Yeah. I moved in and said, I've had enough. Anyways. I'm
gonna say one thing, and then I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm gonna give Tub one more round. But I will say this.
Tub's got some good questions. Do you got anything on your sheet, Tub?
Well, we've had two candidates for city council on, one from Everett, Washington, and now from Greensboro, that were originally born in different countries. One from the Dominican Republic, and now we have one on from Hungary. Americans do not understand what it takes to be a steward of a constitutional republic, because at this point in our political journey, we are a democracy. And I firmly believe that, because when you look at the gerrymandering, when you look at what people are doing right now in California and Texas to change the voting districts to put their party, that is democracy. That is not a constitutional republic. It is mob rule. Right now, we're 100% living in mob rule because, you want
to know what the problem? So my problem is not the redistricting and the going back and forth. You know what the problem is that shows you how too powerful our federal government is. Because in all reality, anything that you guys do in California or what Texas wants to do should not affect me like the way it does in Florida. And that's our issue. So, y'all can fight over that and figure out what y'all want to do inside of your state. What your state does shouldn't bother me here in Florida. But the way our government is right now, it very much does affect us. And that's what's causing Texas to respond to California. Now, California wants to respond back to Texas again. It's because they understand how bloated the federal government is, and they want to control it. So back to your mob rule is all that is.
It is nothing but mob rule. And it saddens me that people would rather own their so-called political enemy instead of embrace their true American neighbor and friend, whatever it may be. You don't have to be friends with your neighbor. Lord knows I got some weird-ass neighbors around here. And
your neighbors say that about you also.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. And that's why we have to elect people like Steve, because we all want neighborhoods we can walk with our German Shepherd and our family late at night. We all want neighborhoods where they're foreseeing the economic growth, and we don't have to get a extra tax so we can put in new sewer lines and all the rest of the infrastructure crap that the industry should be paying for. And then, the only tax that I can actually accept is a sales tax, because that's voluntary. When you go out there and you want to spend your money at a place, you are voluntarily exercising yourself to that sales tax. I don't like taxes, but there's just some things that have to happen when we talk about living in a civilized society. Tub.
And we should strive for that sales tax to be less than 3%. Why, Marcus? Why?
Government already gets more money. They waste more money than they spend. And I can tell you that firsthand. I'm sure Steve can tell you that firsthand, that the government, in the fourth largest economy in the world here in California.
That's three.
The government of the fourth largest economy in the world in California, because I got to do it 4 times. And my dad was
And your dad was a what?
My dad was a deacon. We met all the quotas for the night, but you can Steve can attest to the wastefulness of the government just saying, and that's the stupidity of Americans. Oh, the government's spending money on it, so it must work. That's the intended products of the public education system here in America. They don't want thinkers. They want the people that'll fall in line.
Cogs in the wheel.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Steve, sorry or not sorry. I hope you had fun on the podcast. You got any lasting comments or some statements to help us out here, please?
Yeah, well, this was an excellent, opportunity to get introduced and be on a podcast. This is actually my first time, so I hope I wasn't too crazy. I wasn't too, different or too slow. So thank you for having me on here and trying to have, get my word out there, and hopefully it's going to help to, and again, I'm not a one person thing over here. One of the things that I was saying, I will work with anybody, but I will try to make it so that it helps everybody. So if anybody has any ideas, you can, just send me some messages or tell me how you would think if I've been a long time learner. I'm still learning. So I'm not one of those people who says, I know exactly how it's going to work. Because, once you put, especially those of you who have been in the military, snafu or otherwise, something's going to happen. So especially in politics, it's going to change 1 minute to the next. So it's a learning curve. But again, thank you for having me on here and having, the opportunity to tell you guys what I'm about.
I'll let Tub take us out tonight.
I don't think we want that, but I will tell you this. So, Steve, what we would like to do, this is the part where we say, hey, we would like you to come back again after the election. Okay. And to be honest with you, that's win or lose. Because here's what will happen. As you go through this process, you're going to learn some things. Like you just said, you're going to learn things. And the more that we can get people on after, to kind of come on and be like, hey, I ran, here's what I learned, do this, don't do that. Any information that we can get out as libertarians to other future libertarian candidates, because running for a libertarian, because even though you're nonpartisan, you're still running as a libertarian, basically. And so we run with a different beast to run in that. So I think that the more information that we can get out to others, to future candidates, like things that we learned, I think that this can be huge for anybody after. So we would like to have you come back on, like I said, regardless of the outcome. Listen, I lost horribly, and they still let me come on. So we don't have to worry about that. So I do want to thank you for coming. And listen, you don't need money from us, obviously. So I guess we just kind of put your word out. And what is a way that we can help you get your word out into your district specifically? And maybe that's where Eric comes in also.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned the website. Going on. Well, what I'm doing is getting into the local boards like Nextdoor, going on Facebook, and trying to go and talk to people locally. Just show my face. I mean, just last night I was in a forum where I was talking about my
Steve. This might be tough for me to accomplish here and actually be able to deliver on. But what I would like, and Marcus, will you help me? Steve, give me a list of 100 names you want our followers to reach out to. Call you send it to me in an email. I'll make sure it gets out to the right volunteers. It might be me, Tub, and Marcus calling people on your behalf. But I'm saying, like, can we call 100 people? Is there a way that we can help? Like, we want to make our viewership, make the Libertarian Party fan base. Is there a way the Libertarian Party or the Guilford County or the Libertarian Party of North Carolina can help out? That's what we're looking for. Like, how can we help out? I'm not saying this podcast, but like we might be able to connect you with someone, make some phone calls, send some text messages. How can we help? That's what we want to do here.
Well, that's an excellent idea. I already went. So over here in this state, you can go online and you can get the whole list of all the voters. That's different in every state, but over here it's free. And actually, that was one of my first things that I was appalled by, because as soon as I registered, I got a call from some scammers trying to get something from me, because all that information
some money.
is public. It's
send
open.
text and make phone calls.
Right. So I have about 177 names here that are registered libertarians in the area that I work on. So that would be probably our target audience and the independents. So what I'm going to do is probably, some of those I'm going to send out some postcards. So I already have a whole bunch of, like I said, I'm doing everything by myself. So I have my stamps, I have my printer behind me, so I'm ready.
Well, let us know. Reach out to us. Reach out to Marcus at Through the Black Powder Podcast. Reach out to me. We want to help you out however we can. So let us know. Let our followers know. Let Libertarian Party National, North Carolina, or Guilford County know how we can help.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hold on.
Tub, I think might have.
There you go. I lost all my stuff. I lost my sound and everything. I had to reset it.
Right.
Okay. Tub, like I said, I'm letting you take us out. You know the slogan, you know the motto, and I'm giving you the last word here, my good man.
All right, hey, Steve, we thank you for coming on, brother.
Disciple.
So, hey, I'm not a deacon, but I'm slightly better than that.
You're not. No, you're not.
Listen, those deacons are okay for little positions inside the church. Some of us are going to leave that joint.
Give us some scripture, Tub.
Steve, we thank you for coming on, and truly come back on again and follow up with what Eric said. Reach out to him, and we'll see however we can get our people to help get involved to get you into office.
Okay.
With that, I will tell you, this is the only true libertarian podcast, and I am the only true libertarian.
Yeah.
And with that, as we always say,
hey,
live free
accurate.
or die.